The twin suns of Varkon Prime burned above the great city of silver towers. Beneath them stood a massive structure known across the galaxy, the Arena of 1,000 Worlds. It was said that every warrior, champion, or warlord who wished to prove their power had fought here. None had ever beaten the one who ruled it, Empress Val'Rhea of Varkon. She was not just a ruler, she was a legend made flesh. Her strength had crushed warlords, her mind had outwitted generals, and her beauty had broken kings. Her empire stretched across 7 star systems. Her army was built of metal giants and elite soldiers from 100 alien races. And every decade she hosted a single event, the Challenge of Supremacy, to remind the galaxy who was still the strongest. The rules were simple: defeat the Empress in fair combat, and earn anything your heart desired. Power, riches, freedom, or even her hand in marriage. But for thousands of years, no one had ever come close. That morning, billions gathered in the colossal arena, creatures of every shape, color, and world. Some floated, some crawled, others shimmered like living light. The crowd roared as the Empress entered the center ring, her armor glowing like molten gold. Her presence alone made the air vibrate. A voice echoed through the arena speakers. Today, a new challenger dares to face the Empress, a species not known for strength, a world barely out of its cradle. From the planet called Earth, the crowd laughed. The noise was so loud it shook the metal stands. Human? Someone shouted. They send prey to fight a predator? Another jeered, even the Empress smiled faintly amused. A human? She said, her voice soft yet full of power. How adorable. From the dark tunnel at the far end of the arena, the human stepped forward. No grand armor, no glowing weapons. Just a man, tall, calm, wearing a simple dark combat suit. His name appeared on the holo display, Commander Rin Hale. He didn't wave to the crowd. He didn't speak. He just looked up at the Empress and bowed once, slowly. Something in his eyes made her pause. They were steady, cold, focused. The eyes of someone who had seen too many battles and survived them all. The Empress tilted her head. You know who I am? Yes, Rin replied, voice calm. You're the one who said no human could ever defeat you. Her smile grew wider. And you think you will? I don't think, he said quietly. I know. For the first time in centuries, the crowd fell silent. Then the ground began to shift as energy barriers rose around the arena. Weapons and armor hummed to life. The match had begun. The Empress summoned her twin plasma blades, crackling with blue light. She moved with the speed of lightning, crossing the arena in seconds. Her first strike could have cut through a battle tank, but the human stepped aside. Just one smooth movement, almost effortless. Her second blow came faster. Again he dodged. Then the third, the fourth. Every attack missed by inches. The Empress narrowed her eyes. You are fast, she said. Rin didn't reply. He simply circled her, studying every motion, every rhythm. To the crowd, it looked like the human was running. But to those watching closely, something else was happening. His movements grew more precise, more efficient, as if he was learning her. Val'Rhea attacked again, this time with a shockwave that shattered the floor beneath them. The human leapt back, rolled, then slid to a stop and calm as ever. You should attack, she said. Or are humans only good at hiding? He looked up, breathing steady. I only attack once I understand the enemy. Her laughter rang through the arena. Understand me? Foolish man, I have ruled for centuries. You cannot possibly... She stopped mid-sentence. Rin moved. One step, one punch. It wasn't fast, but it was perfectly timed. His fist met her armored chest with a sound like thunder. The Empress staggered back. The crowd gasped. The impossible had happened. A human had made her bleed. Val'Rhea stared down at her armor, a thin crack running across its surface, glowing red. Her expression changed from amusement to fury. You dare, she hissed. Strike me? Rin's calm gaze met hers. You said any being who could defeat you would earn anything they wished, he said quietly. I'm just here to test if that promise was true. Her eyes blazed. Then come, human. Let us see if your courage survives the storm. She raised her blades again, and the arena's energy fields flared like suns igniting. The ground trembled beneath them. The crowd screamed in awe. And in that moment, every watcher, from soldiers to nobles to warlords, realized something terrifying. The Empress of Varkon, undefeated for millennia, was fighting not just an enemy. She was fighting a human who did not fear gods, and for the first time she was not sure she would win. The arena lights dimmed, leaving only two figures standing under the glow of the twin suns. The Empress of Val'Rhea, surrounded by shimmering heat, and the human soldier, still calm, still silent. Billions of eyes across the galaxy watched the screen feeds. Most expected the human to die in seconds. Some even placed bets on how long he would last. But as the first round ended, the odds began to twist. The Empress raised her blades again. Blue plasma danced around her armor like living fire. "You managed one strike," she said, voice echoing through the arena. "Now face my true form." The floor opened beneath her, revealing a hidden energy core. Her armor shifted, plates separating, merging, glowing brighter. The Empress was transforming. Her wings of pure plasma extended outward, each feather sharp as a blade. The temperature rose instantly. The air shimmered like molten glass. Even the shields around the arena began to crackle under the power. Rin Hale stood still, eyes locked on her every movement. No fear. No panic, just focus. She flew forward faster than light itself. The human barely moved and just leaned sideways, and her strike missed him by an inch. The crowd gasped. The Empress twisted mid-air, striking again. But Rin blocked the second blow with his arm guard. The impact created a thunderous shockwave that pushed the spectators back in their seats. Val'Rhea landed with fire at her feet. "You adapt quickly," she said. "But you are still only flesh." Rin straightened. "Flesh learns faster than machines," he replied. She frowned. Arrogant words for a dying man. Then she vanished. 1 second she was there, the next gone. The sensors couldn't track her. Even the holocameras struggled to follow her speed. Rin closed his eyes for a heartbeat. He listened. To the vibration in the air, to the hum of her energy blades, to the faint distortion behind him. He turned just in time, his hand catching her wrist mid-attack. The entire arena went silent. No one had ever done that. Not once in all of galactic history. Rin held her arm firmly, his voice low. "You're fast," he said, "but predictable." The Empress tried to pull free, but he tightened his grip. "Release me," she demanded, fury flashing in her eyes. "I don't fight for pride," Rin said. "I fight for proof." He let go, pushing her back gently. For a moment she stared at him, confused, insulted, yet strangely curious. "Proof?" she asked. "Of what?" "That humanity belongs among the stars," he said quietly. "That even if the galaxy forgets us, we never forget how to rise." Her expression hardened again. "Then rise against this." She slammed her blades into the ground. The arena erupted. Massive energy pillars shot up, forming a burning labyrinth around them. Flames twisted into shapes of alien beasts, spectral warriors from past empires. Each roared, charging toward the human. The audience screamed in awe. But Rin didn't run. He moved through the storm with terrifying precision, sliding under claws, dodging plasma fangs, striking only when necessary. Every second he moved faster, smoother, stronger. A few scientists watching from the Emperor's box whispered nervously. "He's adapting," one said. "His neural responses are accelerating. It's like he's learning her fighting code in real time." "Impossible," another replied. "No biological brain can process that much data." But Rin's did. He was part of a secret Terran project, something long buried by Earth Command. The Project Ascendant, an experiment to enhance human instinct through combat AI. Rin was the last survivor of it. Now that instinct was fully awake. The Empress attacked again, faster, harder, but each strike she made, he countered. Each move she tried, he already understood. The Empress growled, frustration mixing with disbelief. "You're mimicking my style." Rin's voice was calm. "No, I'm improving it." With a sudden leap, he dodged her next blow and struck her side. Her armor cracked again, sending a shockwave of disbelief through the arena. The Empress fell to one knee, panting. Her plasma wings flickered. Around them, the burning illusions faded. She looked up at him, at the human who stood tall, chest rising slowly, eyes steady and unshaken. For the first time in her reign, the Empress felt her pulse race with something she had never known. Fear. The crowd was silent. Billions watched, frozen, not believing what they saw. Rin walked closer. "You said no human could ever defeat you," he said softly. "Maybe you were right, but I'm not just human anymore." Her eyes widened. "What are you?" He stopped just a few feet away. "A reminder." Then, without warning, she screamed and charged again, her full power unleashed. Lightning, plasma, and fire swirled like a storm. The entire arena shook. Walls cracked. Shields overloaded. But through it all, the human didn't step back. He met her head-on. When their final clash hit, the explosion lit up the twin suns themselves. And when the light faded, both figures stood still, facing each other in silence. The Empress's armor was shattered. Her blades gone, her breathing heavy. Rin's suit was torn, his face covered in ash, but his eyes still glowed with that same calm light. For a long moment, no one moved. Then the Empress whispered, voice trembling with both rage and awe. "You are..." "Impossible." Rin tilted his head slightly. "No," he said. "Just human." The arena erupted in chaos. The unthinkable had happened. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Empress of Val'Rhea bled before another. The smoke hung heavy in the air. The ground of the great arena was cracked and scorched. Sparks fell like dying stars from the broken energy fields. Silence stretched across the billions watching, as two figures stood amid the ruins. The mighty Empress Val'Rhea, her armor shattered, and the lone human soldier, still standing. Her breathing was sharp and uneven. His was calm, controlled, almost measured. "How?" she finally whispered, her voice trembling with disbelief and anger. "How can a human fight like this?" Rin said nothing. His gaze swept across the battlefield, reading every movement, every sound. The way his eyes glowed faintly in the dust-filled light made him look less like a man, and more like something born from the stars themselves. The Empress clenched her fist. "Answer me," she shouted, lunging forward, though her body could barely move. "What are you?" Rin caught her wrist before the blade could rise again. He didn't strike back. He only looked at her, and for a moment something softened in his eyes. "I'm what your empire helped create," he said quietly. "A weapon that was never supposed to exist." Her eyes widened. "What are you talking about?" He released her arm and stepped back. The broken arena lights flickered, and for a moment, the human silhouette stood framed against the burning sky. Calm, powerful, and strange. "Decades ago," Rin said slowly, "your scientists came to Earth. They studied us. They said they came in peace, but they took more than they gave. They took minds, memories, soldiers. They experimented, tried to fuse human instinct with alien combat tech." He looked up, and his voice grew harder. "The project was called Ascendant, and I was its only survivor." Gasps echoed from the Imperial box. The Empress froze, memories flashing. Secret orders, erased files, hidden operations done by her own science division under a former Emperor's command. She had thought those rumors were myth. "You're saying," she whispered, "the humans we captured were never returned," Rin finished. "Your empire buried them in experiments, but one of them escaped." "That was me." Her lips parted slightly. "Then you came here for revenge?" Rin shook his head. "No, I came to remind the galaxy what it forgot, that humanity doesn't kneel forever." For the first time, the Empress felt something deep inside her shift. She had fought warriors who wanted to conquer, rebels who wanted to destroy, but this man fought for something different, to be seen. Her mind raced, trying to process everything. "You survived Project Ascendant," she murmured. "No one was meant to survive that process. It should have killed you." "It did," Rin said softly. "The man I was died years ago." He touched his temple. "What stands here now is what happens when a human learns how to fight like a machine, and still remembers how to feel." The crowd erupted again, their voices filling the arena. Some screamed for the Empress to finish him. Others whispered that they were witnessing the rise of something new, a human weapon no empire could control. The Empress's body trembled. Her power core flickered weakly, armor sparking as it tried to repair itself. "You think this changes anything?" she said bitterly. "You might have strength now, but you're still just one human." Rin's tone stayed calm. "One human is enough." He took a step closer. The ground beneath him cracked from the pressure of his aura. Around them, broken metal floated upward, drawn to the magnetic field of his enhanced biocore. The Empress raised her remaining blade, but her hands shook. Her systems couldn't keep up. "Stop," Rin said softly. "You've already lost." "I never lose," she hissed, lunging again. In one swift movement, Rin vanished and appearing behind her. The blade in her hand melted into molten metal. His voice came from behind her shoulder, quiet, almost sorrowful. "This isn't about defeating you," he said. "It's about what comes after." She turned sharply, face inches from his. Her violet eyes burned with pride and disbelief. "After?" "Yes," he said. "When your people realize a single human stood against your empire and won, the galaxy will change. Every world you conquered will rise again. They'll remember what courage looks like." Her blade clattered to the floor. Rin's eyes softened for the first time. "You are not my enemy, Val'Rhea. You're the proof the galaxy needed, that gods can bleed." The Empress fell to her knees, her power fading, the crowd shouting her name in confusion and fear. Her voice was faint but steady. "If a human ever defeats me," she whispered, recalling her ancient oath, "I swore I would marry him." Rin froze. He hadn't come for that. He hadn't come for her throne or her hand. But as the words echoed through the arena, he saw something shift in her expression, pride fading, replaced by something far deeper, respect, the Empress of Val'Rhea, the undefeated, the unbroken, lowered her head before a human, and the galaxy witnessed a moment that would echo for centuries. The impossible had happened. A human had not only defeated a goddess, he had made her believe. The arena lay in ruins. Smoke rose from broken pillars, lights flickered, and silence filled the space that once shook with cheers. Billions across the galaxy watched the live broadcast in shock. The Empress of Val'Rhea, the undefeated ruler for centuries, was on her knees. And before her stood a single human, Commander Rin Hale, quiet, calm, and unshaken. The crowd didn't know what to do. Some shouted for the guards. Others just stared, unable to believe what they were seeing. The galaxy had never imagined this moment, that a being of flesh and bone from the backwater planet Earth could bring their goddess to her knees. Val'Rhea looked up slowly. Her golden armor cracked, sparks running down its surface. The light of her power core dimmed to a faint blue glow. She could barely stand, yet her eyes still held a fire, a mix of disbelief, anger, and something new. "Respect. You could end me," she whispered, voice trembling but steady. "Right here, right now." Rin shook his head slowly. "That's not why I came." "Then why?" she demanded, her voice breaking between fury and exhaustion. "Why humiliate me before my people?" Rin took a breath, the kind that sounded like centuries of human struggle carried in it. "Because pride built empires like yours, and pride destroys them. Humanity learned that lesson the hard way." The arena cameras zoomed in, showing his tired, scarred face, the faint glow in his eyes. He didn't look like a conqueror. He looked like a soldier who had already lost too much. "I didn't come to take your throne," Rin said quietly. "I came to make you see us." Something in his words broke through her rage. For the first time, the Empress felt small, not because of weakness, but because she finally saw the truth. Her power, her rule, her victories, all built on the belief that no one could ever stand equal to her. And yet, here stood a man who did. Val'Rhea's soldiers began to rush the arena. Dozens of armored guards surrounded Rin, weapons drawn, plasma rifles humming. "Stop," the Empress ordered. Her voice, though weak, still carried authority that made every soldier freeze. "No one touches him." Her generals exchanged nervous looks. "My Empress," one began, "this human defeated me," she said sharply. "And by my own vow, he is owed whatever he desires." Gasps filled the air. The Empress's ancient vow was law, spoken centuries ago to prove her eternal confidence. "If a human ever defeats me, I will marry him." And now the impossible had forced her to keep it. The crowd erupted in chaos. Some shouted betrayal, others demanded her to revoke the vow, but she stood, slowly and painfully, facing the cameras that broadcast her every move to the galaxy. "I am Val'Rhea of Val'Rhea," she said, voice echoing through the burning arena. "And I do not break my word." Rin's expression darkened. "I don't want your crown," he said, "or your throne. I came for truth, not a queen." Her eyes met his. "Then what do you want, human?" He hesitated. The dust swirled around them as the twin suns dimmed behind smoke. "I want peace," he said. "I want the galaxy to stop seeing humans as weak, to stop enslaving them, mocking them, erasing them." For a moment, even the crowd was silent. Val'Rhea studied him, then nodded slowly. "Then you will have it," she said. "If the galaxy fears my word, let them learn to fear yours." She turned toward her generals. "From this day forward," she declared, "Earth is under my protection." The command sent shockwaves across the empire. Fleets across 7 star systems received the transmission. The words of the Empress carried law, and they now named Earth a forgotten blue world, as a world of honor, but not all agreed. In the Imperial control room high above the arena, whispers of rebellion began. Admirals and nobles argued, calling the Empress weak, corrupted by a human. One voice, cold and cruel, rose above the rest. It belonged to Lord Kael'var, the Empress's war minister. If she will not lead, he said, then she has fallen, and I will take her place. He turned to his officers. Prepare the fleet, eliminate the human, seize the throne. Back in the arena, Rin's sharp eyes caught movement in the sky. Dozens of black warships breaking through the clouds. His instincts screamed danger. Val'Rhea, he said quickly, your own forces are turning against you. She turned, looking up. The sight of her own banners descending from the heavens sent pain through her chest. Kael, she whispered, her voice trembling with betrayal. They won't stop, Rin said. You showed weakness. They'll come for both of us now. Her fists clenched. The glow in her armor reignited. Then they will learn, she said coldly, that the Empress has not fallen yet. As explosions thundered above, the two figures, once enemies, stood side by side for the first time. The galaxy watched as the storm gathered, a human who defied a god, a queen who lost everything but her honor, and a rebellion that would burn the stars. The sky above Varkon Prime turned crimson as warships descended through the smoke. Their dark hulls glowed with red energy, symbols of rebellion against the throne. In the great arena below, Empress Val'Rhea and Commander Rin Hale stood side by side. Only hours ago they were enemies. Now they were the galaxy's last hope for peace. Explosions thundered in the distance. The Empress's capital defenses fired upward, but Kael'var's fleet was too strong. The traitor had turned half her own generals against her. Thousands of ships filled the sky, ready to strike their own Empress down. Rin's voice was calm but firm. They'll breach your shield in minutes, he said. You have to evacuate. Val'Rhea's golden eyes narrowed. No, she replied, her voice steady as steel. This is my empire. I will not abandon it. You can't fight all of them alone, Rin warned, her lips curved into a faint smile. Then it is good I am not alone anymore. She extended her hand toward him. Human, she said softly. You wanted the galaxy to see your kind. Stand with me. Show them what humanity truly is. Rin hesitated for a moment, then took her hand. Together then, he said. The arena lights flickered back to life as the twin suns broke through the clouds. Rin's neural core connected to the arena's defense grid, merging with the Empress's command systems. Human technology met alien power, mind and machine as one. Across the Empire, the battlefield changed. Thousands of drones powered up with new coordination. Varkan defense cannons, long dormant, began firing with perfect accuracy, every shot guided by Rin's neural link. Enemy ships exploded in brilliant bursts of fire and debris. From orbit, Lord Kael'var watched in disbelief. How is this possible? He shouted. She's merging her core with his. That's forbidden. On the surface, the Empress and Rin stood at the center of a storm of energy. Her armor glowed bright gold. His veins shimmered blue. Their joined power spread across the sky like a second dawn. Val'Rhea's voice echoed through the comms across the Empire. To all loyal forces of Varkon, stand down. The age of fear ends now. The Empress does not fall today. The Empress rises with humanity. Her words struck like lightning. Half the enemy ships stopped firing. Some captains even turned against Kael'var's command, unwilling to destroy their queen. But Kael was relentless. His flagship, the Oblivion Spear, broke through the atmosphere. Its shadow covered the arena. You've gone mad, Val'Rhea, his voice boomed from orbit. You would kneel beside a human? Then you'll die beside him. The ship's main cannon began to charge, a weapon capable of vaporizing an entire city. Rin's eyes glowed brighter. I can stop it, he said, but I'll need to link fully with your core. Val'Rhea turned to him. If you do that, your human body won't survive. He smiled faintly. Maybe humans aren't built to survive forever. Maybe we're built to make moments like this matter. Her chest tightened. For the first time in centuries, she felt fear, not for herself, but for someone else. Rin, she whispered. He placed his hand over hers. You swore a vow, he said. Keep it. Live for what comes next. Before she could stop him, he stepped forward, energy wrapping around him like a storm. His neural link fused completely with the Varkon command grid. The city's towers, the cannons, the defense satellites, and all responded to him. The sky turned white. The Oblivion Spear fired, but the beam never reached the ground. A massive shield burst from the surface, a shield powered by both human will and alien strength. The blast was absorbed, then redirected. The counterattack hit Kale's fleet like divine fire. His ship exploded in silence, breaking apart into fragments that burned like falling stars. And then, quiet. The rebellion ended as fast as it began. The Empress's army stood down. The sky cleared. The storm faded, but in the center of the arena only one figure remained standing, the Empress. Rin Hale lay beside her, motionless, his body burned by the energy surge. She knelt beside him, hands trembling. "Rin, open your eyes." For a moment there was nothing. Then faintly he smiled. "Looks like humanity finally won a war," he whispered. Tears shimmered in her golden eyes, something no one had ever seen from her before. "You didn't have to save me." "I didn't," he murmured. "I saved us." His eyes slowly dimmed and his hand fell still. The Empress bowed her head, her voice breaking softly. "You were right," she whispered. "Pride built this empire, but humanity rebuilt my heart." She rose slowly, lifting his body in her arms as the entire galaxy watched through the broadcast. Her voice echoed through the stars, a vow written in fire and tears. "By my word as Empress of Varkon, humanity shall never be forgotten again. From this day forward, they stand as equals among the stars, and by my vow, I will keep his name alive for all eternity." She looked up at the twin suns rising through the smoke. "Rest, human," she whispered. "Your story has only just begun, and across the galaxy, in 1,000 worlds where humans once lived as outcasts, something awakened, hope. The story of Rin Hale, the man who made the Empress kneel and rise again, spread like light through the darkness, a whisper carried on every world, every ship, every mind that ever doubted humanity. Never underestimate the human heart.